It went down in Norfolk, Virginia yesterday. Yes, indeed, on the Top Rank card, they had stellar performances. And then there was some performances that happened backstage. So let's get right into it. Abdullah Mason. I've been talking about this young guy. Check out the TikToks with his knockout highlights that I put on there and on my Instagram. Youngin got another one. That ended the show. But let's go to how we even got to where we at. Keyshawn Davis, Norfolk's own. He was supposed to headline in his city for the second time. He's been called out Javante Davis. He done daggone said at the press conference this past week, Abdullah Mason can get the action after they finish each other's fights. So he pressing the issue, but the man can't even make weight. Yes, he did not make weight on Friday going against Edwin De Los Santos. De Los Santos then came from the DR over here, then came to Norfolk to fight Keyshawn for his title. This was going to be Keyshawn's first title defense as a WBO lightweight champion. That did not happen. Keyshawn even said he would give up 20% of his purse with a 10-pound rehydration clause. De Los Santos' team said no. Which, in De Los Santos' defense, remember, De Los Santos was coming off. He had some blood clot issues or some health issues going on. So, of course, he wanted the most cleanest fight possible coming back from that type of injury and health concerns. His trainer said they're not just fighter and trainer. That relationship is more like, this is my kid. I'm making sure my child, I'm making sure it's straight. So they did not take that fight. Keyshawn came in over 4 pounds overweight. He was at 139 point something. He said, you can tell the way he stepped on the scale, he had to look like, I don't think this is going to go good, but I'm going to see what happens. De Los Santos said, no bueno, I don't want the fight. But they said they did compensate Top Rank and to make sure that De Los Santos still got his full purse, even though he did not take the fight. So after that, Keyshawn was stripped of his title and moves up to 140. So the only way he fights Abdullah Mason now, because he called Abdullah Mason out before he got on the scale, now the only way he fights Abdullah Mason got to move up to fight Keyshawn. Because Keyshawn said it's not doable for him to make that weight. And, you know, you've heard people say, oh, I don't think he was... Even De Los Santos' trainer said that's one reason why he didn't want to take the fight. I don't know if it's the trainer or somebody in the camp. It was stated on ESPN last night that their camp had said one of the reasons why they didn't go along with the fight, even though he was overweight, was because it didn't seem like he even tried to make the weight. Because when they touched his back or something, I guess when he was about to hop on the scale, he was like, his skin was dry and stuff. It didn't seem like he was sweating or anything or perspirating to make it seem like he was trying to make that weight. Yes, people cutting weight is dangerous. It is a severe health risk. But all those who box and follow boxing know it's a part of the sport. It's one of those sports where there's weight divisions for a reason. So he couldn't make weight. So now, Keyshawn don't have no title, and he scratched from the main event. They say around 2,000 people asked for their money back after that. That's got to hit somebody's pockets. It hit Top Rank pockets. I don't know if it hits Keyshawn's pockets, but it definitely hit the promoter's pockets because they got to get that money back. They had posted, you was able to get your money back up until, I think, the gates opened up at 5 p.m. on Saturday, so you had up until that time to ask for a refund. So they said somewhere around 2,000 people asked for their refund. Now we get to where we at now. He's no longer the main event. But guess who's the main event? The guy he calls out. The phenom. Abdullah. Appetite for Smoke Mason from Cleveland, Ohio. Is now main event in his first Top Rank ESPN bout. Now, Jeremiah Shakur Stevenson, and he's a lot older than Abdullah Mason. So for Abdullah Mason, this fight was a fight to see, should he get a world title? Should he get a shot at it? And Abdullah Mason made sure he did that. Stopping the fight in the 5th round and 1 second starting off. They called it a TKO because he was catching Nakatali. You could just tell the way his legs, Nakatali looked like a stick in mud walking back to the corner after the 2nd round. You could tell Abdullah was waiting. He was picking his shots right. He wasn't rushing them because Nakatali still got power and he could still catch you. He had defense. So Abdullah respected that. And you could tell, for him to be young in the sport, that man paid attention. That man listened to his corner. There was a split over Nakatali's eye. And when, after the 4th round, going into the 5th, and they got him up off the stool, the ref said, timeout, doc. He had to get the doctor to come look at his eye. Before he even asked for the doc, Nakatali already said, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. So when the doc asked, can you see? He said, no, I'm blind. I can't see. So they waved. They did the right thing. Waved it off. Abdullah Mason is rightfully so put in the work. I think y'all need to go and line up that vacant belt title shot for him. Now, they say might got to go to the UK to fight that guy, Sam. But to get it, but we'll see. Can he have it in Cleveland and do come over here? Don't know. But I would like to see him do something in Cleveland. But like I said, Keyshawn messed up his shot. Abdullah Mason stole the show. Cleveland was in Norfolk. It was the Cleveland show. Because not only did Abdullah do his thing, Tiger Lawson remained undefeated, going against Boca Chica. Now, Boca Chica and Tiger Lawson, I expected more out of that fight. Tiger could have let his hands go a little bit more, but he still got the job done. His trainer still made sure, he was turning into him too, for real. Like, he wasn't playing no games with the young. Like, he was going off on him. Like, he was telling him, he said, this dude you fighting is slow as dirt. Don't belong in there with you. Get him up out of there. Step on the gas. Everything. That's passion. And Tiger Lane I just felt like if he jabbed, he waited to do the double jab. He respected Boca Chica's power, but I just felt like he could have put a little bit more combos together and probably could have got Boca Chica up out of there. Boca Chica, if you punch him, he was punching back. So I will say that, but it just wasn't a fight I thought it was going to be, but shout out to Tiger still getting that win. Let's go to Headbangers on DC. We had Derek Scooter Davis, shock season, going against Naheem Parker. Now, no disrespect to Naheem Parker, but when we spoke about this on DMV Boxing Network a couple weeks ago and people asked me what was I didn't expect it to go no other way, but Scooter Davis getting another knockout. That boy is now 7-0, all by way of knockouts. Got to give it up to that man. Smell like that. It's shock season. You get in that ring, you in his tank. And when it's blood in the water, a shark gonna eat. Now, granted, in the beginning of the 1st round, he starts to you can see he's just laying on the dude. But even Tim Bradley, through the announcing and commentating, he said, he ain't got to rush it. Put some combos together. Start with the jab. It's going to come. And sure enough, Derek Davis was boxing after the 2nd round, about to end the 2nd round. Dude go for a shot. Derek move. Scooter caught him with that liver shot. Blah! The dude went down the way he literally stretching. I'm talking about stretching like he doing a stanky leg. Youngin got to stretch out and everything. That's when they say, when you do that, that leg numb. Youngin wasn't getting up. It took him a minute. Thank God he was able to get up, sit on a stool and then walk out with no problems. But that liver shot right at the bell of the 2nd round gave Derek Davis and helped him to keep his undefeated record of 7-0, all by way of knockout. Shout out to Headbangers in the DC gym doing their thing. Derek Scooter Davis, Young Man Rumble, keep doing your thing. Smack like that. Now, let's go to Keyshawn Davis' other brother, Keyshawn Davis. Now, Keyshawn Davis, he put on for the DB3 crew. That's the Davis brothers. But shout out to Keyshawn Davis for getting his win by way of knockout. Now, by Keyshawn not have his fight and not becoming the main event, Abdullah Mason, who was the co-main event of Keyshawn's fight, now became the main event. So what does that do? It brings the other brother, not Keyshawn, but Kelvin Davis, the older brother, who stands at like 6'1", 140 pounds. He goes against Albright, the same guy who lost to Keyshawn. But then it became a no contest back in 2023 because Keyshawn popped dirty for, smoking the trees. And so that was in 2023. Albright, they said, had a 2-year layoff. That man didn't fight like he had a 2-year layoff. Kelvin Davis was in a dogfight with Albright. Kelvin Davis didn't seem like he used his height the way most people who have that type of reach. And Albright was able to smother him a lot. They said it. Now, when I saw it on another Instagram story, they showed like maybe Albright hit Kelvin with somewhat of a low blow, and the ref didn't see it. Then they said it was somewhat maybe of a headbutt. Maybe some dirty tactics was used. When you go back and see the fight, you might catch it, might not. It depends on how you look at it. But I will say this. After seeing that fight, I think the right man won. One scorecard, they had it 95-95. I think the other two are 96-92, something like that. And those were in favor of Albright as the winner. So, Albright steals the show. There's an issue, like I said, something else happened in the back. Allegedly, Albright was in the back after winning. Keyshawn and the other brother, then Keon, came into the dressing room that the dude was at. Some tussling or something happened where the dude ended up having a red mark, like a headbutt from what he said Keyshawn did. And the trainer of Albright broke it up. Then, after all the fighting happened in the ring of Abdullah Mason had put on a stellar performance, guess what happens next? Now you got a situation where Keyshawn is seen being pulled away by security and family and whoever else was with him because he about to get into Albright again and his family, where they had to escort Keyshawn them out the building. Albright had security escort him to the hotel and everything. We're like, what is going on? It doesn't look good for Norfolk, where the mayor gave him a whole week of saying this is Keyshawn Davis week. And something that could have been so great ended up to be something bad for Norfolk and Keyshawn Davis and his brothers. Now, we don't know all what was said that sparked this. We don't all know what the cameras didn't catch. When Mark Kriegel tried to interview Keyshawn and his team about what had happened, this is before I don't want to call it a melee because I don't think that's what happened backstage. It looked like maybe a couple pushing and shoving. Don't know. That's just what the cameras caught. So going by what they showed and what the cameras caught, what I saw from the cameras, I'm not going to call it a melee. Not going to say it was a brawl. Don't know. It was just like some stuff, a performance. Something happened backstage. But even before that took place, when Albright said he got jumped, the initial part, and Albright stated his claim of what happened, and they was trying to get, Mark Kriegel wanted to get Keyshawn in them because, rightfully so, hey, what happened? What's y'all version of this? Keyshawn and them didn't say nothing to Mark and gave him nothing about what happened. So we can only go by what we saw on camera and what Albright is saying right now. We don't know what exactly sparked it. I wasn't there in the arena. I wasn't backstage in the arena. I don't know. I'm just going by what was reported by other news outlets. And it just don't look good from what we see on the surface. So it's not looking good. But like I said, this doesn't end Keyshawn's career or anything like that. Nothing like that. You know, I think it's a stepping stone and it's a lesson to be learned. Some people feel he didn't take care of business as being the Mr. Businessman and making sure he made weight. And then after that, it was just after that, I guess that might have trickled down to everything else that happened last night, starting from Friday, of him not making weight. And some people feeling, even Bob Arum said they don't think he like really tried hard enough. He think his team, he did not sure what the trainers was doing with him. Like, if you knew he was going to not make weight, y'all could have said something way before now. Like, Keyshawn feels he outgrew the division at 135. Who's to say he's not right about that? But if so, then why wasn't that said a long time ago? I get it. You know, you don't want to mess up no money. You want to do one title defense at least before you move up. But, I mean, money was still lost. And now even bigger situations have happened. Now, Albright said, you know, hey, he want that rematch with Keyshawn because now they both at 140. He's like, he didn't beat the brother. And like I said, in that fight with Kelvin Davis in the ring, I don't think Kelvin did enough to get the win. I think Albright did enough to stay busy and active where the judges, I'm not a judge, but from what the judges probably saw and what others who had unofficial scorecards, Albright looked like he was landing the cleaner shots. You saw that he caught Kelvin a few times where Kelvin had to grab, because if he didn't, oh, man, smell like that. So, and I'm saying Kelvin didn't catch Albright. He started putting those combos together, but his were more few in between from what I saw last night. But nonetheless, I hope the Davis brothers learn from this situation, whatever happened. All parties involved, they move forward in a positive manner. Like I said, I don't know what he said, or maybe Albright might have said something that sparked it. Don't know, but some people feel, hey, you still, you know, this is a business. You got to act accordingly. So who knows? All I'm going to say is hopefully, you know, I would like to see a fight be done in the ring professionally between Albright and Keyshawn. Hey, settle it that way. I'm cool with that, just like we want the Charlo and the Plant fight. We want Maul Charlo and we want Caleb Plant still. They had some issues backstage at a arena in Vegas. Hey, let them settle it. Let Keyshawn and them do the same. Like I said, I don't think this ends Keyshawn's career. Definitely doesn't. He's still a stellar fighter. Like I said, you can learn from this. This is, you know what I'm saying? Understand where you went wrong. Understand where your team went wrong. And move forward in a positive light. To Albright, shout out to him getting the W in a town that was booing him. And he stole the show. Shout out to Abdullah Mason. Definitely stepping up to the plate. When the lights came on, what did he say? They asked that man, he said, we took care of business. That could be a play on words if y'all pay attention to what he said. He said, we took care of business. After Mr. Businessman called that man out, and he didn't even make weight to fight his own fight. So, hey, Abdullah Mason, humble, respectful guy. His team, his brothers, his father, all of them is his team. From the trainers to everything. And they took care of business. Cleveland, Ohio showed out in Norfolk. D.C. Headbangers showed out in Norfolk. It was a great performance by all fighters. I like that show. Thank you, Top Rank, for that. That was a great show of boxing for the weekend. And can't wait to see what's next for them boys. Let them rest up and pay attention to what's next. But y'all know what it is. Y'all keep a go smack mentality. It ain't nothing you can't do. Make sure y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring that bell so y'all know the next time I go live and when I drop something, all right? Smack like that!